Sinop, historically known as Sinop, near Cape Sinop, which is situated on the northernmost edge of the Turkish side of the Black Sea coast, in the ancient region of Paphlagonia, in modern-day northern Turkey. The city serves as the capital of Sinop province. Over a period of approximately 2,500 years, Sinop has at various times been settled by Colchians, Greeks, by Romans in the mid-1st century BC, and by Turkic people beginning in the 12th century. In the 19th and 20th centuries it was also settled by the Mahasya who immigrated from the Balkans and Caucasus. Evidence for Hittite kingdom settlement along the Black Sea's southern shore remains murky. Researchers in the 1940s and 50s debated whether the Great Sea, mentioned on the Bogaskoi tablets describing war between the Kizzuatna tribe and the Hittites, could mean the Black Sea. Albrecht Goetzer argued that the Hittites had never reached the northern Black Sea shore, instead drawing the northernmost boundary of the Hittite kingdom to the south of the North Anatolia mountain range. D.S. Hogarth similarly concluded that the northern boundary of the Hittites never reached the shore. Hogarth's boundary was based on the distribution of Hittite monuments. Some objects found at Sinop are believed to be of Hittite origin. The Greek colony of Sinop was founded by Ionians from the city of Miletus. Sinop issued its own coinage, founded colonies, and gave its name to a red earth pigment called sinaphere, which was mined in Cappadocia for use throughout the ancient world. Some scholars have dated the earliest Greek colonization of Sinop to the 7th c. BC, while others have proposed an earlier date in the 8th c. While literary evidence exists supporting earlier settlement, archaeological evidence has been found of Greek settlement around the Black Sea region beginning in the late 7th century. Sinop was strategically located among the trade routes that were developing on the southern coast of the Black Sea, but remained relatively isolated from other inland communities until the 4th century BC. There is literary evidence of early links between Colchis and Sinop in mythological tradition. Strabo's writings link the legendary founder of Sinop, Autolycus, with Jason and the Argonauts. Polybius described Sinop as being on the way to Phasis. The Persian Achaemenid Empire's northward expansion in the 4th century disrupted Sinop's control over its eastern colonies, including Trapezus. The satrap Datums briefly occupied the city around 375 BC. There is archaeological evidence of increased economic activity between the port city of Sinop and the surrounding inland areas during between 4th and 1st c. BC. Sinop appears to have maintained its independence from the dominion of Alexander the Great, and with the help of Rhodes turned back an assault led by Mithridates II of Pontus in 220 BC. Sinop eventually fell to Pharnaces I in 183 BC, after which it became the capital of the Pontic kingdom. The Roman general Lucullus conquered Sinop in 70 BC, and Julius Caesar established a Roman colony there, Colonia Julia Felix, in 47 BC. Mithridates Eupator was born and buried at Sinop, and it was the birthplace of Diogenes, of Diphilus, poet and actor of the New Attic comedy, of the historian Baton, and of the Christian heretic of the 2nd century AD, Marcion. After the division of the Roman Empire in 395, Sinop remained with the Eastern Roman or Byzantine Empire. Its history in the early Byzantine period is obscure. Except for isolated events, it was used by Justinian II as a base from which to reconnoiter Cherson. Participated in the rebellion of the Armeniac theme in 793. Was the site of Theophobus' proclamation as emperor by his Khurramite troops in 838. And suffered its only attack by the Arabs in 858. In 1081, the city was captured by the Seljuk Turks, who found there a sizable treasury. But Sinop was soon recovered by Alexios I Komnenos, ushering a period of prosperity under the Komnenian dynasty. After the sacking of Constantinople by the Fourth Crusade in 1204, it was captured for the empire of Trebizond by David Komnenos, until the Seljuk Turks of Rum successfully captured the city in 1214. The city returned briefly to Trapezuntine rule in 1254. but returned to Turkish control in 1265, where it has remained since. After 1265, Sinop became home to two successive independent emirates following the fall of the Seljuks, the Pervane and the Jundarids. The Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II overawed Ismail, the emir of Sinop, on his march on Trebizond, and forced him to surrender the city to the Sultan late June 1461 without a fight. The emir was exiled to Philippopolis in northern Thrace. Ibn Battuta visited the city and stayed for about 40 days. He noted it was a superb city which combines fortification with beautification. In 1614, Sinop was targeted by Cossack raiders and extensively looted and burned in an event which shocked Ottoman contemporaries. In November 185,